This is our secret podcast, bonus material.
Yeah, John's not here, so we're just going to do our funniest shit while he's gone.
Now that the mic has started, I kind of lost my train of thought. So.
We were talking about, Mark Hamill reprising his role, but go ahead.
Yeah, it's just kind of funny how in The Last Jedi, he's just this bitter Vietnam vet. And I was just telling Zach, it would be funny if they would have gone with Tom Cruise and Born on the 4th of July, the amputee in a wheelchair, bitter because he was in Vietnam, rolling around the island on Octu, and Ray asks him how he lost his legs and he won't talk about it. But he does cryptically say later on, never mistake your lightsaber for a fleshlight in the dark.
This guy has the Force. He knows everything that's going on around him. Grabs the wrong idea. Yeah, no amount of Force is going to heal that.
No. So, anyway, that's our take on The Last Jedi.
Spoilers! Yeah, unfortunately, that's not how it went.
No, and I hate the toxic fan excuse. If you do crappy work,
right?
Play shitty games, win shitty prizes.
I'm very forgiving of movies. I shut my brain right off for everything. I'll watch all the Fast and the Furious. I don't care, but because I'm so forgiving, that means that I'm not a toxic fan.
Yeah.
I don't want them to do everything by the book. I love the extra creativity, but you made a shitty product.
Yeah, and the thing is, I loved The Force Awakens, and there was a lot of people who were like, "Oh, it's just like A New Hope," but that was done on purpose. You know? Right. It was trying to reintroduce the characters to a new generation while at the same time, appeasing the fans. And I thought J.J. Abrams did a solid job of that. I was excited as a launching point. I thought it was great.
Yeah,
and I was like, well, where are they going to go from here? They've covered the old. We're back into it.
Right.
And then we got The Last Jedi, and I think, they wanted to try and be different, and bold, and they were in all the wrong ways. It's like meeting your girlfriend's parents for the first time. You want to put your you want to be different from her other boyfriends, but that doesn't mean putting on a chicken suit with with a hole in the front for your wiener to stick out.
Or does it?
It could. It depends on our parents.
It's a good way to go.
But I think that's what Rian Johnson kind of did with The Last Jedi. Oh, John's here.
Uh-oh. Well.
Real podcast over.
Yeah.
Fake podcast
sorry,
started.
Guys. We were having a good time, and then... Come on in. Have a seat.
Guys,
You're
this is
right.
me next time?
Yeah.
All right.
Switch it up.
Yeah, I've already got you on mic number 2 for your dainty voice.
Like dainty honeybee voice.
Well, because that thing has different things, like if you have a high, medium, or low voice.
It's got castrati as a setting.
Yeah, and so I
That's
just
just
put that.
for me.
Yeah.
I am a eunuch, so.
Unintentionally.
It's in a jar at home. You want to see it?
All right. I don't know how to read.
It's okay. Just make it up as you go.
All right. Welcome to Dysfunctional Adults, the comedy podcast in which we discuss weird news, pop culture, and being middle-aged dads. I am your host, Zachariah, and these are my co-hosts, Jason.
Jasonian.
Ooh, Jasonian.
Hey.
If you're Zachariah, I'm Jasonian.
All right, and John?
Hi. Yeah, I guess I'm just John.
He's just John. And together we are bitter, cynical Gen Xers saddled with crippling debt and depressingly past our primes, but that's what makes this podcast so much fun.
Awesome. What's funny is, when were you born, Zach? 1980?
1981.
So you're technically a millennial. I think
Right.
You brought this up before.
Yeah,
What's
I
the
always
cutoff,
try to-
though? 1980?
1980.
You missed that by like 3 weeks, right?
No, he's 81.
Right, but he's like
Oh,
January
Because I'm
of
January
81.
7th, so...
So
And my social is... Oh.
let it be...
This is my exact social
There's
security
one number off. Let it be known from henceforth and forever, Zach is a Gen Xer.
Yeah.
So,
I'm pretty bitter, cynical.
and depressingly...
No,
Past
I
your
am
prime.
not. This is my prime. I will stand on that. I will die fighting this battle. I'm doing
cutoff-
better than I've ever done.
That's awesome.
The cutoff, though, changes like every time I see it. Though, like
there's different...
it's not always 1980.
Right.
Sometimes it's 1983 or 82 or whenever. So it's
You kind of just pick the middle-ish.
It makes me
Yeah.
flexible. Like, if I want to bitch about you Gen Xers, I can. If I want to bitch about the millennials, I can. I don't belong anywhere.
It's funny.
we can all bitch about the boomers, right?
Oh,
Everyone
absolutely.
can. Yeah, those boomers suck. No,
Sorry, guys that are boomers that are listening to this and have a good sense of humor. We
not
don't mean
Rob.
you.
Boomers don't know how to use podcasts.
No, I don't think Rob's a
Gen
boomer.
Xer.
I think he's a
Okay.
Gen Xer.
Sorry, Rob. You probably hate me for just suggesting that. Millennials aren't as bad as I thought. So
No.
I married a millennial, and so did John.
Yeah. Not the same one, just so you guys know. I know it's Utah, but
I was like, oh, when do I get in on this? But no,
But
different ones.
I'm deciding I don't like Generation Y or Gen
Z.
Z.
Gen Z is the younger
Gen Y is
millennials.
millennial, also called Gen Y.
are they?
I think so. It's crazy. But the newest one, the Gen Z, I figured they're the ones I really don't like. So
Are those your kids?
yeah, basically. No, I love my kids, but
But I hate all their friends.
the ones that are like becoming adults right now.
Oh, okay.
Which are also one of my kids, but yeah, I don't know. Just it's the, and I'm being kind of facetious because obviously I don't really hate them all, but they're just weird. Like
Like we weren't?
no, we were normal.
Yeah.
But they just a lot of them are on TikTok, and I guess that's where I'm getting this from.
Okay.
You know, it's just
But
kind
you're
of,
on TikTok.
I'm on TikTok enjoying it. I'm not making TikToks. There's two kinds of TikTokers. There's the lurkers or the voyeurs,
John.
and then there's the producers who produce videos. I just
and you're proudly calling yourself a lurker and a voyeur
Creeper.
It's in the court documents too.
on a site filled with like 15 to 20-year-olds.
Not true. There's a lot of older people on there.
Lots
That
of
is true.
lurkers. And
But
voyeurs.
it's just kind of funny. Like one of the videos I watch is this guy. He does this thing where he just does man on the street interviews with girls, and he'll ask them to like have the other one call their boyfriend to see if they want to cheat. You know, and it's just weird how casual like Gen Z is about sex and relationships and
They're just like boning in Times Square. Or,
seriously.
There's definitely not certain stigmas that there was when we were like in high school.
Oh, absolutely.
But I guess Netflix and chill, and I sound really old. That's a euphemism for having sex, right? Or
The fact that, yes, it is.
Okay.
I just think it's cute that you're like asking me. You look right at me and you're like, is that what that means, Zach?
You're like a year and a half younger than us, so that
So
makes
I'm
all the
I'm hip
difference.
compared to you
you're
guys.
kind of,
Exactly.
You're also kind of half millennial, so that's
Yeah.
why I'm asking you.
No,
So-
yeah. I feel like I'm pretty in the know still. I haven't reached that age where I'm starting to decline. I still kind of know who all the big names are in movies now, all the young heartthrobs, because I'm also in love with them.
Well, that's just devious.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
You know, all the Instagram influencers and
Yeah.
TikTok stars and all that kind of
No,
stuff.
I am starting to lose, though. I'm starting to lose ground in all that because I don't understand what's happening.
Yeah, me neither. My
I
kids
just don't care
have to
about
educate me
stuff like
sometimes.
that.
Well, apparently body count now means how many people you've had sex with.
Yeah.
So
And it used to mean how many people we killed back when we
that's
were
why-
in.
There's some
For
embarrassing.
me, it's both.
Which
And
one
it's-
first?
Oh, it's not mutually exclusive.
I suspect a lot of the names are on the same on both lists.
Right,
but
right.
Which one happened first is the question.
We are not talking about this any longer.
I know there's always been casual sex, but it's just kind of, it surprises me just like how acceptable
It's
it is.
more out in the open now.
Yeah, it's just
People used to kind of keep quiet about that kind of stuff, and now not so much.
that's not me. You know, I have to be in a relationship. You know, but it's just weird. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's to me.
To me, it's the humor. I like to think I know what's funny and that I have a good sense of humor, but I see some of the stuff on TikTok that's supposed to be funny, and it's kind of a younger group's like sense of humor.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like I don't get it. I feel like I do get it.
You
It's
just don't
just
think it's
not
funny.
funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that too.
That's where, because comedy is so important to me. I love everything about comedy. It makes my life happy, but am I losing ground on that too now?
I don't know. It's weird.
Well, they've had to come up with new types of comedy because all the types that we liked back when we were younger are offensive now.
Mr. Belvedere.
You think of like every show we watched in the 80s or 90s, they're all
Yeah.
offensive in one way or another.
Yeah.
They have, homophobia, sexism.
Fat shaming.
Yeah, whatever. All
Says
these
the fat guy.
Yeah, just keep it down, Jason. Skinny guys are talking.
all these things are no longer acceptable that were considered okay at the time.
I'm not skinny. Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, they have to come up with new styles of humor, and thus far, I don't get it
Well,
either.
even on
but-
like Seinfeld, I'll watch some Seinfeld reruns, and there's stuff that would not fly today.
yeah,
Like the Chinese.
they have like a lot of ethnic stereotypes and stuff on
there's,
shows like
Chinese
that.
delivery guy. He's like talking like a, and it's awful. I mean, it's funny, but it's like,
Sure.
oh my gosh, and I get kind of like uncomfortable, not because I find it offensive. I'm just looking around and then I laugh.
Yeah.
It's like, okay,
gotta
no
make
one's
sure
here.
that
I'm
there's
good
no
to laugh
audience.
at 90s humor again.
Yeah, because I listen to comics, and like Doug Stanhope is one of my very favorite comics, and he doesn't give a shit. He talks about whatever. He doesn't really go into like racial things, racial jokes, or anything like that. And there's a difference between malicious, racist jokes, but like Dave Chappelle's a good example.
Yeah.
He's funny,
Yeah,
and he
yeah.
he goes into all of that, and it's always funny, and it's always good humored. It's never meant mean.
Yeah.
But those stereotypes are there for a reason, and he makes fun of them, and it's okay, and it's funny. I could never. I'm not saying like, I could never do it. I'm saying I just wouldn't be good at that kind of thing anyway. And besides, my skin's almost translucent, so I'd definitely not survive that. But there's certain people that can get away with it for sure.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Seinfeld can't now.
No, he can't. He's So, that's probably why he refused to come back. They were trying to do a reboot, or not a reboot, but bring it back, and he refused.
Oh, no kidding, just flat out.
Probably wise.
Well, because so much of what they did back then wouldn't fly.
Yeah.
You think like a woke Seinfeld show that just wouldn't work.
I think there's
The
actually
whole
a
point
group
of
that
the show is that they
did
were
an episode of
dicks,
that.
basically.
They're
They were
awful
right.
people.
even like for back then, the
Yeah.
standards, they were kind of just
They were pushing the
selfish,
envelope.
bad people,
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I don't know. I whatever's funny is funny, and I like how you said that maliciousness is the key.
yeah,
I guess if it's
intent,
malicious,
intent should matter. I think.
that's the problem. Is it doesn't anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you get a group of people that are too dumb to understand the joke and the nuances of creating a joke and what goes into it, and they have a say now. They have a platform to stand on and say,
Stupid
I don't
internet."
get that, so that's racist. It's like, okay. Yep.
Context and intent need to matter
You show
with
up
everything.
on stage dressed in a ghost costume with a pointy hat, holding a burning cross, and everybody
Everybody gets all weird.
loses their minds.
Yeah. Okay, that mightn't be racist, Jason. I don't know why I need to tell you
that's
this.
a Matt Stone, Trey Parker thing. They can get away with anything.
That's that white half of you that's like,
Yeah, I asked if I could join the Klan. They wouldn't let me. I'm like, we have a purity test. I forgot to turn my phone off. So my wife just texted me, and she wanted to make sure that I didn't open this box right here.
I thought you meant this Pandora's
that you
box that you're
opened?
talking about right
No,
now.
I didn't. She taped it shut.
Oh.
She used it. It's repurposed. She says I have to open this on air.
oh, so
You know
it's
they
a
can't
fleshlight.
see you, right?
I know, but I'm opening it for your reactions, and then we can describe what it is. So
He already said a fleshlight.
it's not a flashlight.
Oh,
Are you sure?
but can you use it like one?
I could use the box like one.
Is it a
It's a narrow box.
lightsaber?
Hey, crack
So-
that
She's
open.
telling you to open it now.
No.
YouTube videos of people opening presents are huge now, so let's.
Well, I don't know. Let's put it this way. She went lingerie shopping for her sister last night, who's getting married.
Getting married.
Oh yeah.
So I'm kind of scared.
Oh no, it's an elephant. Hey, ask her to get me some wings on the way home.
Like buffalo wings?
I don't
Yeah.
think she feels very good.
I'm just teasing anyway.
So I am going to open this right now. Oh my god.
I'm scared.
Our audience can't see that.
I know. Maybe we don't tell them what it is, but this is perfect for our podcast. It is. If you hearken back to our first episode called "Measuring Up," oh my gosh, we talked quite a bit about. She spent $13 on this.
Worth it.
We talked
Because I'm
about,
going to use it.
we talked about how to measure up in a manly way. Well, my wife has gifted us with a specific measuring, like a ruler and measuring tape for that purpose. It measures length and girth. And it says, "Do you measure up?" So
I think you got to try it out before we give it to her. Was it her sister's?
no, this is for me.
Oh, that's for you.
Yeah, this is for us. She actually gave this to us.
Oh, okay. I thought
So
she
do
was
we
just
take
showing you what we got
turns,
for her sister.
No, she said I had to open this on the podcast. It's a gift for us. But it comes in a phallus-shaped package. It's no pun intended, but cleverly designed packaging. And thank you, Megan.
Yeah. Well, Jason, just go ahead and slap your hog on there.
No, we'll do it privately and return our results.
Did you happen to look at it? You didn't look too closely at the details.
I didn't.
It says, you measure up. You do now. Increase 2 inches in size instantly. If you look at the inches, 1, 4, 5, 6. It's 6 inches long, but it says 8 inches because it skips the 2 and the 3.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't see that.
So none of us are under 8 inches.
Oh no, I'm still gonna measure to 3 even though there isn't one.
Well, you'll still hit 4 rather than 2 now.
Yeah.
So.
I love the girth tape. That's absolutely precious. Well, yeah. Now we have our first bit of merch.
Yeah, put that on the Patreon.
We do need
Sell
to
it.
come up with a T-shirt, mommy measurer. We'll call it.
Well, if our listeners would tell other people to listen to the podcast, we could afford to have merch. Just saying. Throwing it out there, guys. Klaus, I'm counting on you,
Klaus,
buddy.
we'll even do it in German. So
I love Klaus. I think he's a great guy, but he still hasn't said anything to us.
no, definitely not. So this is the little big, and what would that be in German? The little big. All right. Well,
Yeah, I think everything in German is just English, but with an accent. And
angry
dirty DOS.
accent.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Megan. Official shout out
Yes,
to my
thank
wife
you.
for providing us with a very fitting gift.
And a new way to measure.
Zach takes it home first.
I'll wash it.
And then when we get back next week, we'll just be like 5 inches. So that's awesome. I married the perfect woman. So
I did not expect that from her, honestly.
No, I didn't. I thought it'd be something embarrassing, but that's pretty perfect.
It is.
So.
It's nice of her to compensate for your inadequacies
Oh, ouch.
with this type of measure.
But hey, I can't say anything about that because you're the one that has a sex alarm. At least you get laid.
Alexa, set timer. Recurring.
So yeah, that's just the measuring tape for you.
Oh, thank you. So you don't embarrass me, right?
Oh yeah, no. You're
So I understand we all. Let's take a break.
Yeah, I was gonna say let's take a real quick break and have John record a commercial.
Oh yeah, good call. And we're back.
Hey.
So I was just bitching to the guys how nobody cares about us, nobody loves us. Turns out we've only made $3.61 from our sponsorships. We actually got we got more because my mom, Suzanne, is a monthly supporter.
Thanks,
Aw,
Suzanne.
thanks,
Thanks,
Zach's mom.
That's really kind. That's awesome.
Wish you were our mom.
So that's pretty great. If any of you guys wanted to do that, that would be awesome too. But just put a few more zeros behind that.
We're talking to you, Jeff Bezos.
You listen to our podcast, you asshole.
Elon Musk.
I like that guy.
Even 1 or 2% of his yearly salary, we'll
Yeah.
take it. We're not greedy.
No.
He can keep the majority of it.
So it's what? Jeffrey Bezos, the guy from Virgin. Jeff Bezos.
No, that was funny. I like
Jeffrey.
it. Jeffrey.
You get down here from the stratosphere right now. So the Virgin guy, Jeff Bezos, and soon Elon Musk will all be the three amigos who made their own rocket ships to get to space.
Nice.
Is it Richard Branson? Was that the other
Yes,
No.
thank you.
Yeah.
He's the virgin guy. That is
guy.
what we call him.
Because he's an actual virgin.
Yeah.
one? Not with that kind of money.
Yeah. I'm kidding.
Well, some of us, no matter how much money you had,
You can buy all the loving you want with that money.
Some people.
So yeah, they'll be the three amigos of space is what I'll not call them. So.
And 1% of each of their incomes, that's all we ask. I don't think that's unreasonable.
It's really not.
They won't even know this,
They really won't.
but we will. So win-win.
Well, I guess we all saw a movie.
Suicide Squad.
Yes.
That was a good movie.
I thoroughly enjoyed it, yes.
Yeah, so we thought we'd do a review, I guess.
Like a group review.
Dude, spoilers.
Well, we're doing it right now.
Oh.
It's not a preview.
Of the review.
Stay tuned from 3, 2, 1, now. No, let's all take a second, give our own take on it, and then we could rate it 1 through 8 inches.
I like this standard of measurement.
You go first, John.
Well, the first thing you got to notice is if you saw the first one, This one is very rated R. It's not. They didn't just add a couple F-bombs or a little bit more blood. They went out of their way to make it graphically
Mortal
violent.
Kombat level graphic violence.
Yeah. Some of it's like for comedic sake. There's some funny violence in it, but it is very violent. It is not just slightly above the PG-13 versus R threshold. That's the first thing people should know.
Yeah, there's nudity, there's the F word, and there's lots of violence.
See, and Charlie didn't think it had enough of any of that.
I would recommend against taking your 5-year-old children to it.
Oh, now you tell me.
I mean, 6, 7, 8,
Yeah.
they're fine.
Yeah.
5 might be a
5-year-olds,
little too
they're not
young.
good at reviewing movies, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Their opinions suck.
Right.
It has nothing to do with the content.
Yeah.
Well, what'd you think, John?
I liked it a lot. I had a lot of fun with it. I thought it was really funny. The acting was perfect for what it was. I love Idris Elba. He's awesome in everything.
Yeah.
As we've said before, he's basically playing the same character that Will Smith played in the first one with a different name. They have the same skill set. They're different characters, but they have the same skill set, basically.
Yeah.
They have the same storyline, basically. Wasn't it all about his daughter for Will Smith, too?
Yeah, it was.
He's kind of being blackmailed into doing it.
Kind of funny, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and some of that's just comic books. Like, comic books have a lot of similar characters.
Yeah.
Them. But yeah, Bloodsport is actually a separate character from Deadshot, but you're right.
Right.
They're pretty much...
They're both, perfect shots.
Yeah.
They both have the daughter that
needs them,
hates them, but needs them, and yeah.
And this is a sequel, actually. I think they call it a soft reboot, where they continue the storyline but kind of restart it at the same time.
Yeah, they like fart on the first one and then move on.
It's one that you don't have to see the first one to understand what's going on in this one, though.
Right, they explained it pretty quick in the beginning.
Yeah.
So. But, what'd you think? Scale of 1 to 8 inches.
I'll give it
How hard did you get? Just tell us.
I'll give this 7 inches. I thought it was
that's pretty good.
I thought it was very enjoyable. I can't think of any major complaints I had with it. I mean, they killed some characters at the beginning that I thought would have been interesting to see for longer.
Like Michael Rooker's character.
Yeah, and Nathan Fillion's character.
Nathan Fillion,
You can barely even know it's him because he has the mask on, and they
Yeah.
kill him right off the beginning. And I did enjoy the Weasel very much. That his brief moments were quite amusing.
It's directed by the director of Guardians of the Galaxy and
Has the same type of humor, but much more violent.
Yeah.
But the same type.
more
Yeah,
dark humor.
yeah, for sure. And Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn is always very amusing. She's really good in it.
She did a great job. I like Starro the Conqueror.
Yeah, and Starro I always thought was such a ridiculous DC bad guy. I love how they put him. It could only work in a movie like this. I mean, he's like, they call him a kaiju jokingly because he's destroying the city like Godzilla, but it's a damn starfish with a big eye in the middle. Only a movie like this could pull it off, and they actually did it well.
Yeah.
Like, you can't imagine Starro being the bad guy of a Batman movie or even a Superman movie, and some of them are kind of goofy to begin with, but
Yeah. I agree.
Starro was quite amusing in this.
What do you think, Zach?
I really liked the hardcore sex scenes between Starro and
What were you watching?
maybe I got the wrong movie because a lot of what John just talked about I don't remember at all. The dialogue was awful. I kept seeing like the microphone and there was a lot of spank me, daddy.
You did the same thing with Pokemon Go, remember?
Yeah,
That was
Pokemon on me or whatever it was.
Well, I think what you saw was just that video of me screwing the starfish down at the aquarium.
I was like,
Look,
this
it's
is
Starro.
the best DC film I've ever seen.
Camera's all shaky. And then I wave high at one point.
Yeah.
Because I'm
In the
holding the camera.
No, I really enjoyed it. I'd give it 8 inches just because I didn't know. Wow, I don't like this. I don't like this way of, or I kind of do, of reviewing things, but I think it's gonna stick around. I'd give it 8 inches because it was stylish, like that Harley Quinn scene when she's just kind of going through the hallway
with the
was
flowers
beautiful.
and the birds and all that.
Well done. The action scenes were perfectly executed. I didn't know what to expect, and when I saw Starro at first, I was like, "What is this crap now?" But they just made it amazing. It was the whole thing was funny and graphically violent, and it had everything. Like I said, Charlie loved it. And damn it, that joke's run its course. Okay, I'll quit doing that. But yeah, give it 8 inches.
I love King Shark, played by Sylvester Stallone.
Yes.
And that moment, and I'm not spoiling it, but he's in an aquarium and he's just like bonding with the fish and he's just running from one side of it and they're following him. They get these close-ups on his eyes and you got cold, dead shark eyes, but then you're like feeling sorry for him, you know?
Yeah, they put emotion in the way that he moved his eyes and the way his brow furrowed and stuff. It was amazing.
And those are the type of
amazing
roles that Stallone should be getting at this point in his career.
Oh, right.
He shouldn't be doing the action hero stuff anymore.
No.
They're trying to do a Rambo 90 or whatever it is now.
Finished that off. I thought
No,
already is
he's
90.
talking about doing another one. Yeah, he is. Talking about doing another one.
Well, it was really good. I enjoyed it a lot. And this isn't spoiling, but there's a scene where they creep into a camp and kill everybody in the camp. And the kind of humor is, it turns out that those weren't the bad guys.
Yeah.
That was so funny. I did not see that coming.
And they just kind of shrug it off like, oh, we just killed 20 innocent people. And
They were like, they were already dead when we got
Yeah.
here.
That was pretty fantastic.
Yeah. So if that's your sense of humor, then by all means see Suicide Squad. I'd give it probably 7 inches.
You were only able to give it 3, but I get what you're saying. Like, in spirit, you're giving it
extra
7.
4 inches. Yeah.
Is this like a sliding scale dependent on age?
Yes. You just tucked that ruler a little bit between your butt cheeks. Yeah, I'm going to name this episode Suicide Squad Spoilers because we definitely spoiled a few things.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit, but I'm that kind of guy that hates that.
That's true.
And some people are out there are like that, and I don't want to make anybody mad because it is a newer movie. And yeah, I feel for those people because it happens to me all the time because I'm an internet whore.
My wife accuses me of having a problem spoiling stuff. So
That sex alarm. Every time.
she's like, would it kill you to have some foreplay? Alexa's going off. Isn't that all you need?
The timer's counting down from 6 minutes. We need to hurry. Why are we talking?
In 10 minutes, it's Hawaii 5-0 time. So come on, let's get going.
Burn notice is on.
She's gonna kill me for that. Anyway, so yeah, I think it was great. Your first official Dysfunctional Adults movie recommendation. See Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Do not take your kids.
Whatever. You guys have no sense of fun.
You'll be giving the starfish at the aquarium a hard side eye after this movie. You never know.
If you see one with an eye, run.
You will not trust starfish ever again. Because before this, they were all so trustworthy.
Right. Unlike the octopus, who's an asshole.
Yes.
All right. So, anything else you guys have been up to?
I just binge watched Loki, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and WandaVision. And I'm not going to go into details because I don't need to, but a lot of people have already seen those, but they're all just so great.
They're really, really well done.
They really are for a series. And you know, some of them are only 6 episodes long.
Yeah.
And
Loki was...
Yeah, but they did a great job with it.
Well, I love the long form storytelling that streaming has made possible, and that's what you see with like Loki and these series that only have like 8 episodes.
Right.
You have basically movie quality production value, and then you get the long version, and you can watch it in installments,
Yeah. And you get invested in the characters because there's more development. You can really like I was telling you, I cried at the end of WandaVision. I totally did.
Yeah. I just think it's the future of like storytelling. I love going to the movies, but honestly, I think movie theaters are kind of on their way out.
Oh yeah.
And that's sad because I love.
It's sad because I'd still much rather go to a theater. There's still the experience of.
Right, but you can't
the 50-foot screen and the surround sound.
Yours is the whole thing about sitting in the back and having your pants off and not getting caught. That's your weird thing that you like.
Well, I could do that at home too, but
your wife doesn't know you're in the back sitting there naked, just like looking at the screen.
Like when you're 40, you gotta use what helps, whatever gets you going.
whatever works.
No, I agree, but I think you can't get the same like quality of story that they've just kind of come up with. I mean, you either had to settle for cheap budgets and 25 episode seasons,
right,
which had some great moments, or you had to have the $1 million budgets, hundreds of millions for the movies. And I think it's just a really great like meet in the middle kind of thing that streaming's made possible. I just really, really like it.
And it sets up all these grand movies that, like, had they been doing this prior to the Avenger movies, there'd be a lot of middle story that they could have covered and really made the movies this grand epic opera. And they're going to be able to do that now with these newer stories and the newer Avengers movies and such.
Yeah. I just think it gives you a chance to flesh out the story. Like, I think if they would have taken this track with Star Wars instead of trying to release, 3 huge movies, I don't know. I think it would have turned out better.
Absolutely.
I really do. So, anyway, too serious for too long. So
yeah, like I'm inverted. So thanks.
Well, on that note, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but the sun has been red.
Oh yeah,
the past couple days.
I have not. Oh yeah, I did.
Smoke and the ash.
Smoke, yeah.
It's like post-apocalyptic.
Yeah.
It's made me sick. I just want to let you know, everybody.
Waiting for Cthulhu to come out of the ground or something.
Time for a GoFundMe. Jason's moderately bothered by congestion caused by the smoke from California. And I'll just look really sad on the picture.
I need some nasal spray. I can't even talk.
Hey, I gave that up. That caused me 2 surgeries, man.
For real?
Yeah, for
nasal
real.
spray did?
I was addicted to it for like years.
That explains a lot.
But then I gave it up.
Were you like snorting like entire bottles like at once?
I'm like drinking it. No, it's just apparently if you use it for longer than 3 days, it has a rebound effect, is what they call it. So like your body starts like making you stuffed up if you don't use it.
Huh.
So and it caused a lot of infection. I've had to have 2 sinus surgeries, but I've been off the sauce for over a decade now. So
that explains why your nose changed.
You have your 10-year chip.
You had some work done, didn't you?
I had some.
He's got his 10-year chip from this nasal spray.
I just show up at AA and I don't mention what my addiction is, but everybody just assumes.
Yeah,
it's like it's been 10 years. Like,
yeah, that's awesome.
You're like, what was? And finally, some guy was like, "What? So."
Heroin,
K,
crack,
what was it? Oh, it was Afrin.
Yeah.
Like then I can't go back there anymore. Apparently, I'm delegitimizing their lived experience.
Just don't take it through the nose anymore. Use it in like suppository form.
Or inject it.
Inject it straight into your veins.
Rectal.
But yeah.
Anyway, so I just wanted to point that out that the world's ending. Anyway,
yes. What have you been doing?
Well, I've started watching the new season of American Ninja Warrior with my son. He is big into that. He says he wants to train for and become the next American Ninja Warrior.
Awesome.
The funny part is that he actually thinks I could do it. He's still at that naive age where he thinks your dad's a superhero and can do anything. Like, I always tell him I'm too old, but then there will be some other contestants in like their 40s or sometimes even their 50s. Like, see if they can do it, you can do it, Dad. It's like, no. Those people have some things I don't have. Like talent, ability, work ethic, a body mass index under 30. I mean, you look at some of the stunts they do, and they've got like liquid steel like coursing through their veins. I've got like Cheese Whiz in mine, so
that's called cholesterol.
So no, I appreciate that my son still thinks of me that way. Horribly misguided as it is. But I'm much more of a, let's watch them do this rather than me training to do it. Just the fact that, just because he sees me like run on a treadmill for half an hour or something, doesn't mean I'm a world-class athlete that can be doing all this kind of stuff.
Your vertical jump is still only a few inches, right?
Yeah, I mean, you could slide a piece of paper under my vertical jump and I might be able to clear it, maybe.
So wait a minute, your son actually thinks you're cool? Mine's 5 and he's already got it figured out because he does not like me.
He already knows the truth then, right?
Yeah. I don't know who told him.
I worry about my son because I think it's going to come crashing down on him one day. He'll just realize, wow, my dad really was a dumbass all this time.
I think we all
I thought he was cool.
Realization at some point, right? That our parents aren't gods,
Yeah, of course.
That they're human.
Yeah, I figured it out this year.
Yeah, he's 9 though, so I would have expected that to happen already. But
It's usually puberty.
I'm sure by
man.
the time he's 12 or 13, it'll hit him hard, and I'll have to deal with that. But
My teenage girls think I'm the devil, so they used to look up to me, but so my 11-year-old still does. But I'm just counting down the days till he realizes that Dad's a dumbass.
Yeah.
they'll figure it out. It doesn't take that long.
That's cool though. I'm glad that you have that with your son.
Yeah, it's fun while it lasts.
There is they opened up a Ninja Warrior gym here.
They have one up in Ogden. I know that.
They opened a new one in Salt Lake.
Oh, cool. He wants to go to that.
Nice.
He wants to go so bad to train.
I'm going to ruin it for you, and I'm going to go tell him that there's one and that he needs to ask his dad.
Just train at the park.
We do.
No, you.
Oh, I do take him to parks. There's certain parks he calls Ninja Warrior parks.
Nice.
Because they have certain obstacles that you can swing on and
Yeah.
the round things that
but you got in
called the
trouble
spin cycle on the show. And
You just push like your little girls out of your way when you're coming down the slide.
my turn.
Heads up! Out of
Set
the
a
way,
world
Peck.
record. Gonna hit the buzzer.
Hit the buzzer.
But yeah, so that's what I've been doing. One other thing I've been doing lately is I've discovered the awesomeness of wrong numbers with
those
texts.
are fun.
Yes.
I've gotten some texts from wrong numbers lately, and I believe it's our moral obligation to mess with these people a little bit.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, how far you go depends upon their sense of humor and
Yeah.
that, but I've got a couple good ones lately that I'd like to read aloud. Let's see. Yeah, you're gonna have to cut out this lag, but
I'll sing for you.
Please do. Oh, this is beautiful.
yeah, we'll cut that. Okay, here's one I got about a week and a half ago. It says, "Hi, Ethan. This is Michael, last name redacted." Well, I'm not going to out him in front of everyone. So.
What's the phone number?
So anyway, "Hi, Ethan. This is Michael. Are you still one of the assistant executive secretaries?" I said, "Michael, last name redacted. OMG, I thought you were dead. How is this even possible? Charlie had our entire platoon pinned down in that ravine back in '69. I thought I was the only one who made it out. I still hear the screams every night in my dreams." And he just responded back, "LOL, wrong number?" And I said, "Yeah, have a good day." Winky smiley face. And he said, "You too, I hope your dreams get better. Bless." He had the 2 hands clasped, praying. And I said, "LOL, thanks."
That's really awesome.
That guy had a good sense of humor about it. And so did this other one that I just got today. I got this random text that says, "Hey, I'm dealing with some issues with my kiddo. I can't come in. I'm sorry for the late notice. I forgot." And I said, "Aw, man, you're missing out. Today's the day we're finally bringing in all those shamans we hired to help drive away the evil spirits that we assume have been causing all our poor sales numbers. Dave brought a goat skull that we're passing around the circle to drink blood of while we chant. Drink blood out of while we chant. It's going to be lit." And I had a goat, a skull, and a ghost emoji. And then I said, "Oh, and Carlos is bringing empanadas." With the smiley face licking its lips. And she just responded back, "OMG, I love you." And I said, "Yeah, I'm a lot cooler than whoever you meant to text." Winky smiley face. And she goes, "I meant to text my doctor." I put, "LOL, well, good luck. Hope your kiddo gets better," with the fingers crossed. And she just said, "Thank you."
I'm still trying to figure out, like, this person's trying to text their doctor, but they're putting the phone number in manually, obviously.
Right.
Why isn't it in their phone? But this is just my OCD.
No, you think you've got a point. I don't know. Maybe they've never texted their doctor before.
Right, yeah, I guess. I didn't know you could text your doctor. That's kind of cool. I want to text their doctor.
know.
Those are awesome.
Either way, though, I think it's our obligation to do things like that when you get a wrong number.
Absolutely.
I would have. I mean, that was awesome. That was comedy genius. I think I probably would string them along further though, and I might end up in prison.
Yeah, you're evil. You're just pure evil.
With that, for me, it depends upon their responses.
Yeah.
If they act all confused, I'll keep going.
Oh, sure.
But in this one, their very first text, in both cases, they knew it was a joke and
Yeah.
put LOL, acknowledge that it was funny and stuff. So there's only so much you can string them along when they're already in on it. You know, the whole point's to get honest reactions when they don't expect it. So
there was one time we were playing Dungeons and Dragons. There was like 6 of us. And one of us got a text to a wrong number or a call. And so we decided to all like start texting that number and asking them the same questions. And they got pretty upset.
yeah.
Have like 6 random guys suddenly texting random crap. It was pretty fun.
That's awesome.
But John, you are a prince among men for doing that.
I just hope I get more wrong
We're
numbers.
very proud of you.
If you'd like to text John, his number is...
I give it out on Reddit. He's not on there, so...
There's a guy named Rolf that I must...
Like that puppet dog on the Muppets, the piano-playing dog?
That was Ralph, wasn't it?
It was Rolf.
Was it Rolf?
It was Rolf.
Was it? Okay, so maybe that's who they're looking for. But anyway, apparently there's a guy named Rolf who must have a number that's like 1 digit off from mine because I get calls and texts for him all the time.
Become Rolf.
Apparently he's some like foreman for a construction company or something. I just got a call for him this morning, but it was a phone call and not a text, so I couldn't really do much with it. But
talented Mr. Ripley, him.
But yeah, next time I get text for Rolf, I'll play it up and I'll bring it into the next podcast. 'Cause it happens pretty regularly.
Zach has some epic Facebook chats. He's posted them. Have you posted them to the page? Or?
Yeah, I posted a wrong number that I did, and then it was also a text it was a scam. And so I tried to send it to you guys, but the pictures I sent were way too
it was like
big,
small.
and so it kind of like it was too big of a file, so it tried to reduce it, and then you couldn't read it. So I put it on the Facebook page for Dysfunctional Adults and also my own page, and that was a fun one.
That was awesome.
That was a really fun one because this scam artist, they wanted all my information, my driver's license, my social and all this stuff, and they weren't giving up no matter what I said. And I was a contract killer. Yeah. I was, sacrificing virgins to the Dark Lord. And I was like just doing all this stuff. And I was trying to see if they were a virgin. I wanted a lock of their hair. I wanted pictures of them for my scrapbook. Like, they did not give up. They really wanted to get my information.
Yeah, that one started out like sexy and then it went weird. Well, not that it wasn't weird from the beginning.
Yeah.
But, they were like trying to seduce you. But then it went to like, have you ever tried, this product or whatever it was?
Yeah, they were they're like, hey, there's this money available from California for you. And, oh yeah, that sounds realistic.
Let's be real, there's no money in California.
No, it's all coming here.
Yep.
Ones like that are probably like AI, right? Like,
no,
if they're not
they
even...
just don't speak English.
Yeah,
okay.
this one.
So they weren't really understanding what you were saying, probably.
Probably like the Philippines or...
They did tell me at one point that I was scary.
But they kept going.
Yeah, it was funny.
My son loves this YouTuber named Kit Boga. If you watched his stuff, he takes the Indian scammers for rides. Like,
nice.
His goal is to see how long he can keep them on the phone. I think he's done like 24 hours.
Oh my gosh.
His goal is like, if I can keep them on the phone, they won't be scamming grandma.
Right.
Yeah.
But he has this voice changer, so sometimes he sounds like an old woman, sometimes he sounds like an old man. It's just hilarious. So Kit Boga, check him out.
Nice.
It's an unsolicited endorsement. So
yeah, you're welcome.
You're welcome, Kit Boga.
Give us some of your listeners or watchers or whatever.
All right.
Speaking of YouTube, you can listen to our podcast free on YouTube. Look up Dysfunctional Adults.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you, Zach.
Yeah, well, I have nothing better to do.
We're going to start doing some video clips here and there. Not of John, but, parts of John.
Parts of John. I was just going to say that. Beat me to it.
The camera I've hidden in his shower.
Yeah. He's going to be so surpurprised.
You won't see my face. You'll see everything from the neck down. That's all the good stuff anyway.
I didn't know he was black.
Wrong house.
Half black.
Yeah.
From the waist down.
No, vertically.
Like Two-Face.
Like Two-Face.
Yeah.
But yeah, listen to us on YouTube, and we'll continue to expand our dominion. So.
Yep.
Should we take a break and come back with show and tell?
Yes, because I have to pee.
Okay, go pee.
Like, do I just take my microphone or?
You just take it with you.
Yeah. Sorry, John.
Zach, use the toilet.
In your bathroom, the half-eaten English muffin on the sink, that's a really cool idea for, like, guests to snack on. Thank you.
What?
I don't know. I just made it up.
I forgot.
But anyway,
when I
I'm
was
full.
in there earlier. You know,
Yeah.
just much. I eat my breakfast at the same time I take my morning.
You're efficient.
Yeah. So.
You eat while you whiz.
Oh, I poop.
Your morning
That's even
constitutional.
better.
My morning constitutional. I'm gonna call it that from now on.
Nice.
We're men of a certain age.
Yep, that FiberCon's doing its work.
Yep.
All right, welcome back to Dysfunctional Adults. It is that treasured time that we enjoy every week where we share with you something weird, odd, funny, crazy, or all of the above.
And it makes up for the boring parts about movies and our lives.
So without further ado, let's get started. I do believe, unless someone else objects, I can go first this week.
About time.
Go for it.
All right. So I got a couple things. I have become a addicted TikToker, so I've been finding some funny things on there. But this actually comes from Ranker. It's one of those, clickbait sites. But they've got some funny lists. And this one is the 20 most ridiculous church signs of all time.
Oh, nice.
So, by church signs, of course, I mean the marquees outside of different churches. Some of them have really inspirational and cute and clever sayings, you know. I used to collect pictures of them when I was on my LDS mission. We'd take pictures of the ones I thought were pretty clever, you know, not to mock them, but just they were clever, you know, they were funny ones.
Yeah.
One of them on my mission was, it said, yes, we're open between Christmas and Easter, you know, kind of poking fun of those people who only show up at church, you know, twice a year.
Right.
These, however, are on a different plane. Either they were not ran past another person to proofread them, or somebody's just kind of sick. So, let's see. I'm not going to read all of them, but I'm going to pick some of the funniest ones. So this is from a Seventh-day Adventist church. It says, the most powerful position is on your knees. Clearly a reference to prayer, but if you're inviting sinners to your congregation, they may take it differently.
See, of the three here, I'm the heathen, so he has to explain some of these
Not
to
at
me.
all. I'm not church-splaining to you.
I'm just teasing you.
So this one is from the Kingsley Lake Baptist Church, and it says, Easter comes once a year. How often do you? Kind of a personal question. This one's from the Word of Life Church. It says, a 4-inch tongue can bring a 6-foot man to his knees.
We can vouch for that.
Amen.
This one's kind of funny. I like this one's clever. It says, what happens in Vegas is forgiven here. That one's actually pretty clever.
Yeah.
This one's from Stony Point United Methodist Church. Stop, drop, and roll won't work in hell. That's another clever one. This one's funny. It's from Church of the Cross. It says, don't let worries kill you. Let the church help.
Wow.
This is another unintentionally funny one. It says, Westside Church of God. A loose tongue often gets into a tight place.
Preach.
This one's from St. Paul United Church. It says, best sausage supper in St. Louis. Come and eat. Pastor Thomas Wrestler. I think there should have been an exclamation point between.
Punctuation
Yeah.
matters still, yeah.
He's dead now, and there are cannibals in that town.
Forest Mill Baptist Church says, pray for a good harvest, but keep on hoeing. This is the best one. Grace Baptist Church says, and I can't believe this isn't. I think someone's son got a hold of the letters because it says, real friends don't rub it in, they rub it out. And I can't really think of a legitimate use for rub it out.
Like stamp it out, maybe, type thing.
Maybe,
Yeah.
but
Stamp out the
rub it-
sins or the...
rub it out's kind of specific.
Yeah.
So there you go.
All right.
Awesome.
Nice.
And I am a committed Christian, so please don't think I'm mocking people. It's just funny.
I would attend all of those churches.
Because of those signs.
I'd just be mad because it'd be false advertising when I get there.
Where's Pastor Wrestler? I want.
I'm hungry.
I'm hungry now.
All right. So this is an article from DidYouKnowFacts.com. 23 people who had disastrous meet the parents moments.
Oh boy.
So again, I'm not going to read them all, but there are some pretty funny ones here. My mom and current wife met for the first time at 2 a.m. in my parents' living room, both wearing no bottoms.
Wow.
That's
a
the
story
start of a
behind that
lot of porn.
Yeah. This is another story. My whole family met my current boyfriend over Easter dinner. My father doesn't typically say a word to new people my siblings and I bring home, but randomly during dinner, my dad turned to my boyfriend and said, "You a racist?"
Why, yes, I am. Is that a problem? What kind of answer do you expect to get from a question?
And why are you wearing that chicken suit?
Right? Let's see. Here's another one. When I brought my first girlfriend home, I was too embarrassed to say anything to my parents. So we went directly to my room and started fooling around. Here's what transpired. My mom opens the door to my bedroom and stopped mid-sentence. "Hey, I was thinking we could have turkey for..." I awkwardly removed my hand from, I'm not going to read that, doing something, sexual. She says, I'm sorry, I didn't realize you had company. I said, "Yeah, this is Caitlin." "Hi, Caitlin. Did you want to join us for supper?"
That is so awkward.
So when my mother was 14, she wanted to date this boy who was 17, but my grandparents wouldn't let her because they just don't trust him. My mom argues with her parents, but they stand firm in their decision. Flash forward about 8 years, my mom is happily married. Her parents show her the newspaper, and the boy, grown up now, made the paper. Drug deal gone wrong, armed robbery, double homicide, and suicide.
Sometimes parents know best.
Yes, they do.
Let's see. A family friend brought home a guy who told us he jumped out of a mission plane in World War I and that he used to star in some TV show in Canada. He was 33 in 2012. All right, so here's the last one, and it's a little bit longer, but it's worth it. It says, when I was 16, I met this girl who went to high school across town through a buddy who was dating her friend. Our parents were pretty liberal, and we spent most of our weekends getting high and drunk in the pool house and swimming when we wanted to cool off. Needless to say, it took about 3 days before I lost my virginity to this girl, and it was awesome. Here's the thing. When you're 16 and you find a girl who's into you, you never let that go. I was immediately her boyfriend, despite the fact that I didn't know much about her. I knew everything that I needed to know. Week 2 of this torrid romance, and something isn't quite right in the land down under. It was really burning when I peed, like every time. I went to Catholic school, so I knew all about Satan, how Satan invades extramarital sex and fills your lust pool with STDs. I knew I had one. The only question was, which one? We only got more serious, like getting close to meet the parents serious, but love didn't cure whatever evil was festering in my penis. And I had to schedule a doctor's appointment. In the exam room, I had to fess up to my doctor. I had to pee in a cup, and he manually examined my penis. He asked me why I suspected I had caught an STD, and in the spirit of doctor-patient confidentiality, I told him everything, which came out to, I met a random girl from across town. I've been humping her everywhere, pool, bushes, Suburbans, rugs, carpets, dirt piles. I don't know much about her. It took a week, but the results came back. I had a benign UTI, most likely from bareback riding in dirt piles. Clean it up was his advice. That was a giant relief. Everything seemed to be going great. The penis problem cleared up, and the girl and I kept seeing each other. After a few months, she invited me to her family dinner. Her mom was nice, and her dad was my doctor.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
That's awesome.
So anyway, those are some cringe-worthy meet the parents stories.
2 things.
Yes.
A, it's supposed to not burn when you pee? Question mark.
You're asking me?
I'm asking you. I'm looking directly into your eyes and
Yes.
asking you. Okay, so I need to get something figured out.
I can manually examine.
You can. Are you going to be my girlfriend's dad? Let's see. The other thing, big story guys, like that 33-year-old. Mm-hmm. You guys, have you run into many of these? These big story guys that have all these stories and they really truly believe the bullshit they're telling you, and everybody knows that they're full of shit, but nobody ever says anything to the guy.
Yeah, I've met some people like that.
Oh,
yeah.
They drive me. Oh, wow. I didn't
John,
know. Everything you've told me is a lie.
Everything.
No, I'm teasing.
But yeah, those people, I have compassion for them.
Yeah.
But they irritate the piss out of me.
They do, and
it's probably just because they have nothing like interesting in their actual life, so they have to make stuff up.
Right.
So it's kind of sad in a way.
It's they have no confidence, so they have to,
They want people to like them, so they tell tall tales. Yeah.
It gets, I can't handle it.
I'm pretty sure, though, that that outlandish claim that he'd been in World War I at 33 in 2012 was probably a joke.
33 in 2012 is our age. It's the exact
so
year we would have been 33.
The funny thing is we say crap like that, you know.
We don't expect people to believe it, though.
Right.
I mean, we could probably get our kids to believe I was in
Right.
those wars.
Actually,
but
the
beyond that.
high schoolers now probably would believe you were in World War One.
Oh, yeah. They're not learning history.
They're not
They're out
learning
boning
history.
in dirt piles.
So yeah, and get that looked at.
Okay. By you or?
No, I'm not a doctor. The judge said I can't say that anymore that I am.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's. Give me my $50 back.
Finders keepers. And I'm being a proctologist.
Yeah.
Whatever I find, I keeps.
Yeah. Oh.
As a proctologist?
Yes, I have a shower head.
Call back. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
It's up to you. I can if you want. Mine are kind of long, but
Yours tend to be funnier, so I'll go first.
That's not true.
You shush your mouth.
Oh.
I will shush you as much as I want. So again, we come to Cracked, because they're my favorite. The 7 most incredible crime sprees carried out by animals. This promises to be a good one. October 3rd, 2010, by Kay Montaigne. The vervet monkeys of the island of St. Kitts developed a fondness for alcohol soon after being brought there by rum industry slave traders 300 years ago. After escaping captivity, the monkeys started feeding from the fermented sugarcane left in the field, which meant that the traders' plan to train them into rum-serving butlers had backfired horribly. These days, however, they get their free alcohol fix from a different source. Tourists. You literally cannot turn your back on St. Kitts without a monkey sneaking up and stealing your drink. And if you don't have a drink, they will give you one just so they can take it. There are a variety of methods employed by the monkeys in swiping drinks, from the nervous grab and run, to the brilliant knock it over and lick up what's left tactic, to the confident drink it at the table method. And our favorite, the old steal from a friend who has done all the hard work technique. So they share drinks. Of course, at the end of the day, they have to suffer the consequences. So these monkeys literally get drunk all the time because it's a tourist attraction at St. Kitts.
and then they crash and,
they-
have like a hangover.
Yeah. So you could go up and, pet a monkey if you want, because it's, but I'd be careful. Don't do that, kids.
Pukes.
Dude, I pet a hungover monkey on my vacation. That's awesome.
How many people can say that? Mr. Asbo, the swan with anger management issues. Despite being a beautiful, innocent-looking swan, this is actually one of the angriest, most vicious birds ever, presumably the result of all the taunting he received as fuck ugly little duckling. Staking his claim over an entire area of river he lived on, which can be found in Cambridge in the UK, the swan proceeded to beat the ever-loving shit out of anybody and anyone that dared try to share his water. There's all these
Spy pond,
pictures,
bitches.
too. Yeah. The local residents gave him the cute nickname of Mr. Asbo, which in the UK stands for Antisocial Behavior Order. In the US, they just call him, let's get the fuck away from here right now. Mr. Asbo seems to be particularly annoyed by boats, so it's a little unfortunate that he happens to live in a city renowned for its participation in the yearly university boat race. Despite the local authorities' official warning about the swan's violent behavior, rowers continued to frequent the lake and continued to be beaten up by Mr. Asbo. The swan has tipped over entire boats before proceeding to mercilessly attack the submerged victim with its beak. And when he can't do that, he's happy to skip straight to the mercilessly attacking someone with his beak stage of his terror campaign, sometimes even standing on top of the vessel to increase the intimidation factor. He even learned to attack the most vulnerable part of the boat. Yes, the swan officially knows more about boating than most humans. One rower called him a vicious beast and added, "I don't go past it if I'm alone. I'm too scared." In Cambridge, the slightest quacking sound is enough to cause uncontrollable fits of panic amongst the population. Turns out that Mr. Asbo was just misunderstood, though. A bird whisperer claims to have cured him of his antisocial behavior by uncovering its psychological roots. She also said, and I quote, "When I was communicating telepathically, first of all, he portrayed a feeling of fear and being quite angry with humans." That's right, telepathically. Inside this woman's head, all you hear is angry quacking. Oscar the fetishist kleptomaniac cat.
Oh.
Oscar, a cat in Southampton, in the UK again, this all happens there,
crazy town.
began his life of crime at an early age, stealing unimportant items that were unlikely to be missed, a random sock, a garden glove, a late period Picasso. But as he progressed into adulthood, his tastes became more refined. He now specializes in almost exclusively lingerie. Developing a penchant for girls' underwear, Oscar began prowling the washing lines of unsuspecting students living in the area, bringing home all sorts of unmentionables. According to his owners, on a good day, he can bring back 10 items. Oddly enough, they appear more impressed than alarmed by Oscar's problem, remarking on the lengths their cat goes through to bring them presents. We can't give him back now because he makes such an effort with all these gifts. He's got a lovely personality and is a very loving cat. I'll skip all that. Let's see. Oscar's owners did have the decency to at least phone police and neighbors and let them know it wasn't some perverted guy stealing their undies, John. It was only a perverted cat who may or may not be masturbating to them. All right. Barney the foul-mouthed parrot. Barney is a macaw living in the Nuneaton Wildlife Sanctuary in the UK. When Barney arrived there at the tender age of 2, they noticed he had already acquired a large vocabulary from his previous owner, and it consisted entirely of nasty fuck words. Since we have no idea who the previous owner was, we're going to go ahead and tell you it was Gordon Ramsay. But anyone can drop a few F-bombs and think he's being clever. It's all about context, and Barney knows this well. That's why one time during a visit from the local mayor, Barney looked her in the eye and told her she could fuck off. He then turned to a vicar and a couple of policemen who happened to be standing by. Apparently they were shooting a Benny Hill sketch here, and proclaimed, "You can fuck off too, wanker." No, really, he did. Barney is already sounding like our hero, but his exploits didn't stop there or even with him. When two African gray parrots moved into his cage, Barney took it upon himself to teach them his favorite words, fuck, bollocks, and twat.
No, this bird's owned by Jim Butcher from The Boys.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
Jim Butcher, Billy Butcher.
Billy Butcher,
Yeah.
Butcher's an author, but yeah, Billy Butcher.
That's awesome. So here we go. Otto the octopus and his uncontrollable vandalism. As anyone who's been bored enough to watch Animal Planet late at night will tell you, the octopus is a creature of very high intelligence and occasionally precognitive powers. I don't know what that's about. There's a link to it, but I'm going to look at it later. What would happen if they directed all that impressive brain power specifically toward causing trouble? World chaos, probably, because it took one octopus doing that to turn an entire aquarium upside down in Coburg, Germany. Klaus!
Hey, Klaus.
Bored with the unbearable dullness of life in an enclosed tank and possibly suffering from a little ADD, Otto the octopus is constantly looking for ways to keep himself entertained. And since he lives in a fucking aquarium, he needs to go to great lengths to achieve that, mostly in ways that involve being a jerk to his neighbors. Like when he starts juggling the hermit crabs or rearranging everything inside the water tank to cause stress to its other inhabitants. And if that isn't enough, he starts throwing rocks and cracking the glass. But that's not what made Otto famous. That would be the time he endangered the entire aquarium. In a fit of boredom, Otto decided he'd had enough of the light shining down on his tank and realized he had the intelligence and the means to do something about it. Swinging himself onto the edge of his tank, he took aim at the light and squirted a jet of water toward it, killing that light plus every other light in the building. Otto's squirt short-circuited the electrical supply to the entire aquarium, which could have had fatal implications for the animals residing in it when the electrical pumps in the tank stopped working. The aquarium workers fixed the problem as soon as they noticed it, and then Otto did it again. And again, and again, until the staff held a 3-night vigil, sleeping on the floor of the aquarium, and finally realized how he was doing it. That guy's a dick. All right, 2 more. I know these are kind of long, but we're going to have a long episode.
That's awesome.
Red the dog and his debauched clandestine parties. Red is a lurcher who lives at Battersea Dog's home in London. Within a few weeks of his arrival, strange things started happening there, with staff arriving every morning to find the rooms strewn with food and piss. Either that the dogs were somehow sneaking out of their kennels, or Keith Richards was stopping by at night. That's fair. That's fair. After enduring this routine for a couple of weeks, the keepers enlisted the help of a local company to install cameras to record the nightly antics of the pooches, either to find out how they were getting out, or out of a suspicion that whatever they found would be hilarious. What they saw was newcomer Red using his nose and teeth to open the latch of his kennel, and then repeating the same procedure on the kennel of his best pal Lucky. Sounds like a buddy comedy. The pair then patrolled the room, deciding which of their fellow canines were cool enough to come to their party, which involved up to 9 other dogs. The rest would look on in impotence and pretend they didn't even want to get invited. In the middle of the celebration, Red would sneak away and take his girlfriend to his room for some private time. Trying to turn Red's outrageous behavior into something positive, a spokeswoman for the dog home remarked that lurchers aren't usually known for their intelligence and that Red is remarkably inquisitive and easy to train. And the last one, Canelos, the legendary riot dog. Photographers who had been taking shots of the riots in Greece were surprised to notice that one individual could be spotted in all of them. In fact, he has shown up at every protest in the capital for the last 2 years and many before that. Since the country is on the brink of bankruptcy, that's a lot of protests, meaning the rioter is either really committed to the cause or really, really bored. The reason for the photographer's surprise? The rioter was a dog. His name is Canelos, and he can be seen dodging cans of tear gas, remaining smug when being blasted by a water cannon, encouraging protesters to attack the police, and patrolling the gates of Hades. Some claim the original Canelos died 2 years ago at around age 17, and the one showing up since then is his successor, Fedorius, which would be even more awesome because it means that Canelos' example is inspiring to other dogs to rise up against man's oppression. By the way, he also inspired someone to record an anthem. We can't tell you Canelos organized all those protests too, mainly because we're afraid to get on his bad side. That one wasn't as funny, but that octopus.
The parrot one is really good too.
Yeah.
Foul-mouthed parrot.
Yeah. Teaching the other parrots the bad word. That's fantastic.
That's awesome.
Yeah, animals are just so much more intelligent than... I was reading a lot of different animal ones. That's the one I settled on, but I definitely have more for the future.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Animal stories are always good.
Yeah.
And what have we learned? Octopi are dicks.
They really are. I read something that somebody climbed... It wasn't Everest, but they climbed some giant peak, and at the top, when they crested the top... There was an octopus up there. It was dead, but they can't. There was no water anywhere. They can't figure out how the hell it got up there.
It's just trying to one-up them.
Yeah, because he's a dick.
Yeah.
That's what they do, yeah.
All right, John.
That's awesome.
What you got?
Okay, well, since this, the Olympics happened this month, so I thought I would share some great moments in past Olympic history.
Nice.
And by great moments, I'm not talking, Simone Biles or Michael Phelps type great. This kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier about my son thinking I could be a world-class athlete. Some of these stories, maybe there was a time when I could have. Okay, so Shizo Kanekuri of Japan, he set a record that will never be broken in the marathon for the slowest time ever. In 1912, in the Stockholm, Sweden Olympics, he had run several miles before passing in front of a group of people who were having a pleasant drink in their front garden. He was suffering from chronic heat exhaustion at the time, so he walked over and joined them. Being a sociable sort of man, he stayed for a few more drinks, whereupon he changed his race tactics dramatically, caught a train back to Stockholm, booked into a hotel for the night, boarded the next boat back to Japan, got married, had 6 children and 10 grandchildren. But he had never actually informed race officials that he was dropping out. So all this time he was just listed as missing. And his time was considered ongoing. In 1967, Swedish officials found out that he was still alive and living in Japan, so they called him up and asked him if he wanted to come finish the marathon.
This is epic.
He accepted the honor, and at age 75, he flew back to Stockholm, started out right where he had left off, and finished the marathon.
That is awesome.
Setting an unbreakable record of 54 years, 8 months, 6 days, 8 hours, 32 minutes, and 20.3 seconds.
This is pretty much my...
That man's my hero.
Yeah,
Sorry.
no, I'm just saying, this is my story of how I get to heaven. God's going to call, did you want to come up here?
We've all been waiting for Dinner's ready.
Dinner's ready.
So yeah, a marathon that took from 1912 to 1967.
That's so epic. I love that story so much. I love that they called him and brought him back. That's beautiful.
Is awesome. Here is one about the pentathlon, which I think the three of us could have competed in, apparently. First of all, the pentathlon, do you know what that is?
I don't.
It is the most ridiculous event ever.
Sounds like a magazine. Pentathlon.
Penthouse?
Oh.
That's something different.
Pentathlon. No.
I can marathon that.
How many inches would you give it?
The pentathlon combines 5 completely different sports with completely different skill sets. It's running, swimming, horseback jumping, rifle shooting, and fencing. It's almost like they put every sport in a hat and drew 5 of them out.
It just sounds like an Indiana Jones movie.
Yeah. It's like, well, today we're doing ski jumping, sumo wrestling, calligraphy, competitive kite flying,
curling,
and basket weaving. Anyway, at the 1960 Rome Olympics, the Tunisian pentathlon team had questionable qualifications, to put it mildly. On the equestrian event, the horse jumping, they scored 0 points because the entire team fell off their horses. It was the first and only time that anyone had scored 0 at the Olympics. In the swimming part, one of their people had to be rescued after nearly drowning.
By the Moscow water dog.
In the rifle shooting part, they were all ordered off the shooting range because their shots were so errant they were endangering the lives of the judges. And then in the fencing section, they actually had one team member who was a very skilled fencer. The problem is the other 2 could not fence at all. So they kept sending the same guy out to fight every single match, assuming that with the mask, no one would notice it was the same guy. Unfortunately for them, people did notice, and one of his opponents unmasked him in front of the entire crowd, so the entire team was disqualified.
How to half-ass the Olympics.
World-class athletes, people. Anyway, not only did Tunisia come in, obviously, dead last, but their combined score was half as many points as the team that was second to last, and they were a spectacular 9,000 points behind the winner, which marks the lowest ever pentathlon score and the largest margin of defeat of all time.
Dude, that is amazing. They totally sent some middle-aged dads. They're just like, oh shit, the Olympics were coming up. We didn't even Gunther, I don't know what names they have in Tunisia, but
looking for volunteers.
Yeah.
A little last minute, but
anyone know how to fence? No? Well, you're coming anyway.
Yep.
You could feather dust, right? Same thing. Get on the bus.
Oh man, that was beautiful.
Couple more. No mention of epic Olympic moments is complete without the 1904 Olympic Marathon in St. Louis, the first time the Olympics ever took place in the United States. Let's see. Sorry, I have to.
Oh, no
I'm
worries.
gonna kind of paraphrase this because it's long, but
How many inches?
8.
Is this to be like every session now?
Yeah, we'll be rating things by inches from now on, for sure.
Okay. Anyway, this was less of a marathon and more of like a death march. One Olympic official called it the most difficult a human being was ever asked to run over. Humidity soared in the 90s. There were 7 hills varying from 100 to 300 feet high. In many places, cracked stone was strewn across the roadway, creating perilous footing. And they didn't close the course like they do today. So all the contestants had to constantly dodge delivery wagons, railroad trains, trolley cars, and people walking their dogs.
It's part of the game, man.
Yeah. There were only 2 places where athletes could secure fresh water. One at the 6-mile mark and at a well at the 12-mile mark. So they had to run the last 14 miles with no water. James Sullivan, the chief organizer of the games,
Was shot and killed?
He wanted to minimize fluid intake to test the limits and effects of purposeful dehydration.
What the?
Which it says was a common area of research at the time.
Messed up.
Cars carrying coaches and physicians motored alongside the runners, kicking the dust up and launching coughing spells. The dust, it says, was several inches deep in some spots. Anyway, let's...
Welcome to Merca. Even in 1905 or whatever you said.
1904. 1904. William Garcia of California nearly became the first fatality of an Olympic marathon when he collapsed to the side of the road and was hospitalized with hemorrhaging.
Oh my God.
The dust had coated his esophagus and ripped his stomach lining.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Had he gone unaided an hour longer, he might have bled to death. Len Tao, a South African participant, was chased a mile off course by a pack of wild dogs.
That's awful.
Felix Carvajal of Cuba had he collected money by running races in Cuba, and he'd saved up for the trip to the United States. But upon arriving at New Orleans, he gambled away all the money his very first night, so he had to walk or hitchhike the way from New Orleans to St. Louis to participate in the race. And since he had no more money left for some running clothes, he showed up in dress clothes and shoes. One of the other racers took pity on him and at least got a knife to cut off the legs of his dress pants so he could run in shorts at least.
Nice.
And along the way, Carbajal stopped at a roadside orchard to eat some apples. They turned out to be so rotten, and he got such severe stomach cramps, he had to curl up on the side of the road and take a nap. And he still finished fourth, which should tell you about the quality of the competition.
What the hell?
The first place finisher...
Please tell me they were Russian.
No, it was an American named Fred Lors, who after running 7 or 8 miles was suffering from exhaustion and heat stroke, so he hitched a ride in a car and rode the next 11 miles in a car before getting out and running the last few to pretend like he had actually run the whole thing.
I'm proud to be an American.
Anyway, he was initially declared the winner.
Work smarter, not harder.
Right.
Isn't that the Olympics motto?
Oh, man.
Sorry.
You're fine, dude. Don't worry about it. Take your time. I can edit
He was
all
initially
this.
declared the winner, and the crowd started cheering and chanting for him. Alice Roosevelt, the 20-year-old daughter of the President Theodore Roosevelt, placed a wreath upon his head and was just about to lower the gold medal when someone ratted him out and said, hey, he rode a car. The cheers turned to boos, and he was disqualified.
And then a Russian one.
No, it's another American. The second place finisher, who ended up being declared the winner after Lords was disqualified, was an American named Thomas Hicks. He had a 2-man support crew, trainers, that rode alongside of him. At the 10-mile mark, he was suffering from severe dehydration and begged them for a drink, but they refused. Instead, they gave him a stimulant because performance-enhancing drugs were not banned at the time, a concoction they had created
Oh, great.
from egg whites and strychnine. Strychnine in small doses can be used as a stimulant,
Good to know.
but of course it's also the main ingredient in rat poison.
So only eat a few pellets. Got it.
Hicks, the strychnine now coursing through his blood, had grown ashen and limp. But when he heard that Lors, the original finisher, had been disqualified, he perked up to try and win it. He could barely move at this time, so his trainers, to counter the effects of the strychnine, they gave him more strychnine. This time with some brandy to wash it down.
Oh,
Because men were men back in 1904.
good. Right.
It says, at this time, he began hallucinating, believing the finish line was still 20 miles away, even though he was only 2 miles away at this point. In the last mile, he begged for something to eat. He begged to lie down. He begged for water. But all they gave him was more brandy. The last mile, his trainers had to get out, put his arms around their shoulders, and carry him over the line. And his feet were still moving as if he was running because he had no idea where he was at that point. But upon crossing the line, he was declared the winner.
And dead?
It took four doctors and an hour for Hicks to feel well enough just to get up again. He lost 8 pounds during the race.
Oh my gosh!
So that is the story of the 1904 Olympic Marathon
survived
in
that?
St. Louis. He did apparently survive.
Oh, that's amazing.
Have
I
some more strychnine.
We all could have competed in this marathon.
Yeah. I think we need to bring back the old Olympics, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, let's do this.
It's basically if you survive, you get a medal.
Right.
That Cuban guy who took a nap and still finished 4th, because none of these other people probably made it to the finish line. I got one more, and it's not about the athletes per se, but just an Olympic moment that should never be forgotten. It's the story of why live doves are no longer used in the opening ceremony. Starting in 1936, there was a tradition to release a flock of live doves, the international symbol of peace, during the opening ceremonies. That tradition abruptly ended in 1988 at the Olympics in Seoul, Korea, when the entire flock of doves was incinerated by the Olympic torch on live television. And there is video of this too. It is epic. After finishing their little ceremonial flight around the arena, the doves perched on the end of the Olympic cauldron, and the torchbearers assumed they would move when they lit the torch, and the flames started to spread. But only a few of the doves actually did. The rest of the flock just sat there as they were engulfed in flames and barbecued alive, with the entire world watching. So ever since the 1988 Olympics, ceremonial doves are released instead of real ones.
Oh my
They do a metaphorical dove release. They have not used real ones since.
I'm worn out.
There is your great moments in Olympic history in honor of the games being held this summer.
I couldn't compete because I'm worn out from just laughing. That was...
And it goes back to what my son was saying. Maybe at some point I could have been one of these athletes.
Want to try some strychnine?
I think of
See how
that
fast you can run.
the Tunisian pentathlon team.
That sounded like us.
Yeah, it's like falling off a horse. Check. I can do that. Almost drowning in the pool. Check. I can do that. Being such a bad shot, I'm endangering the lives of the judges. Check. Not knowing how to fence and having to cheat and send someone else to do it for me. Check. I could do all those things. We could have been Olympic athletes.
Oh, man. Oh, what could have been if I'd have been born in the right century.
Well,
Oh, that was beautiful.
it's awesome. I think that's going to do it for this week.
My face hurts.
My throat hurts.
Yeah,
I'm
sorry you have so much editing to do.
Oh, that's fine, man.
But thanks for listening, and continue to support the podcast by rating us and telling your friends. And
Please tell your friends.
tell all your friends, and we'll give you more quality content like this. Thanks for listening, and have a great week.
All right, see
Bye,
ya.
guys.